I've got at least 2 books, maybe 3 books, depending on how our time goes, and they're all about birds. I thought we'd have books about birds today. How's that? Well, here we go. The first one is called The Origami Master by Nathaniel Lochenmeyer, illustrated by Aki Sugakabi. Shima, the origami master, lived alone, high up in the mountains. He never had visitors. His origami kept him company. There's his house, high up in the mountains. One day, a warbler chose the tree in Shima's backyard for his nest. It flew back and forth collecting twigs. There he is, right by the house, you see? When the warbler was done for the day, it sat on a branch and watched Shima doing origami. From time to time, it sang, hoo-hoo-cue, hoo-hoo-cue. That evening, after Shima went to bed, the warbler flew in through the open doorway and lighted on his desk. It began to fold a piece of paper the way it had seen Shima do. Look at that. The bird is making origami. The next morning, Shima discovered a new paper elephant on his desk. He picked it up and examined it closely. It was simpler and more beautiful than any of the ones he had made. Someone is playing a trick on me, he thought. Shima threw his elephants away. He decided to make a dragon. In his opinion, his origami dragons were the best in the world. Look at that dragon. He's making a bright yellow origami dragon. But in the morning, Shima found a magnificent new dragon on his desk. It looked like it was about to come to life and fly away into the air. Look at that. How do you think that dragon got there? Shima spent the day folding origami spiders. At dusk, he left his best spider on his desk. Then he hid in the hall. He was determined to find out who was making the origami. In the middle of the night, the warbler flew inside and began making an origami spider. Shima watched in amazement. He decided to try to catch the warbler and learn its secrets. Just after sunrise, Shima hiked down the mountain to the city below. He bought a large bird cage and a lock and returned home. What do you think he's going to do? That night, Shima hid under his desk. When the warbler arrived, he caught it and put it in the cage. The warbler cried and beat its wings against the cage, but it could not escape. Shima brought the warbler his best origami paper. He gathered nuts and berries for it to eat. But the warbler just stared sadly at the tree where its nest was waiting. I don't think that bird likes being in that cage very much. Shima stayed up all night, making every origami animal he could think of. The warbler did not look at any of them. Finally, as the sun rose in the sky, Shima fell asleep. When Shima woke up, he found the cage door open and the warbler gone. The lock was lying next to the cage, and beside it was an origami key. There it is, right there. Shima ran outside. The warbler's nest was empty. It made Shima sad to think he had scared the bird away. Then he saw the warbler returning to the tree with a twig in its beak. He smiled when he heard its beautiful sound. Hoo-hoo-cue, hoo-hoo-cue. Shima realized how much he would miss the warbler if it left. He sat down and began to work on something new. An origami nest for the friend he had made and almost lost. The end. Isn't that sweet? He made a nest. It's better to leave birds to their own nests, isn't it? Instead of keeping them in a cage. Even if if you give them things they're happy with, like nuts and origami paper, if they're meant to be outside birds, and it's good to leave them outside. Here's another bird. This one's not a warbler. And he doesn't do origami, but he does make things. I like to make things. Do you like to make things? This bird likes to make things. His name is Hoot Owl. Hoot Owl, master of disguise. Doesn't that sound interesting? This book is by Sean Taylor, illustrated by Jean Julian. Watch out! I am Hoot Owl. I am hungry. And here I come. Hoot Owl, master of disguise. The darkness of midnight is all around me. But I fly through it as quick as a shooting star. And look there. A tasty rabbit for me to eat. Soon my sharp beak will be gobbling that rabbit up. Everyone knows owls are wise, but as well as being wise, I am a master of disguise. I devise a costume. Look, I disguise myself as a delicious carrot. It is the perfect way to catch a rabbit. I wait. It doesn't work. Never mind. I am Hoot Owl, and I am still hungry. And here I come. The night has 1,000 eyes, and 2 of them are mine. I swoop through the bleak blackness like a wolf in the air. And look there. A juicy lamb stands helpless in the cool of the night. The lamb looks cuddly, but soon I will be eating it. Everyone knows owls are wise, but as well as being wise, I am a master of disguise. I devise a costume. Look, I disguise myself as a soft and fluffy mother sheep. It is the perfect way to catch a lamb. I wait. It doesn't work. But still, I am Hoot Owl. I am hungry. The terrible silence of the night spreads everywhere, but I cut through it like a knife. And look there, a pigeon stands trembling, afraid that a dangerous creature of the dark, like an owl, might be passing by. In a matter of moments, the pigeon will be in my tummy. Everyone knows owls are wise, But as well as being wise, I am a master of disguise. I devise a costume. Look, I disguise myself as an ornamental bird bath. It is the perfect way to catch a pigeon. I wait. It doesn't work. But never mind. I am Hoot Owl, and I am very, very hungry. And here I come. The shadowy night stretches away forever, as dark as burnt toast. And I look there, a mouth-watering pizza. My eyes glitter like sardines because I am sure the pizza will be mine. Everyone knows owls are wise, but as well as being wise, I am a master of disguise. I devise a costume. Look, I disguise myself as a waiter. It is the perfect way to catch a pizza. I wait. The disguise works! The pizza does not move! They don't call me a master of disguise for nothing! I chomp the pizza with my deadly, dangerous beak. It is pepperoni. The last bite is as good as the first. Then, tired but satisfied, I transform myself back into plain Hoot Owl. I disappear into the dark enormousness of the night. I am gone, and the world can sleep again. Until Hoot Owl returns. The end. Don't you love that book? I just love that book. It's so much fun to read. I hope you had fun listening to it. You get to be a little silly with that one. Well, this next one, it has birds in it, but it's mostly about an egg. It's about a very famous egg called Humpty Dumpty. The name of this book is After the Fall, How Humpty Dumpty Got Back Up Again by Dan Santat. You guys know the story of Humpty Dumpty, right? Maybe we should say that part first. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, and all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. That's all we know, right? That's the whole story. But there's more. Here we go. My name is Humpty Dumpty. This was my favorite spot, high up on the wall. I know it's an odd place for an egg to be, but I loved being close to the birds. Then one day, I fell. I'm kind of famous for that part. Folks called it the Great Fall, which sounds a little grand. It was just an accident, but it changed my life. Fortunately, all the king's men managed to put me together again. Look at him all bandaged up. He's coming out of the hospital with band-aids all over him. Well, most of me. There were some parts that couldn't be healed with bandages and glue. Look, he's sleeping on the floor because he's afraid to go up the ladder to get into his bed. It's sad, isn't it? After that day, I became afraid of heights. I was so scared that it kept me from enjoying some of my favorite things. Look, he's in the cereal aisle. And his favorite cereal is at the top of that ladder. It's called Choco Duck. But he can't go up there and get it because he's too scared. Humpty Dumpty's pretty sad, huh? He's eating Bowring cereal instead. I walked past the wall every day, and I would think about climbing that ladder again. I really missed the birds and being able to sit high above the city, but I could never do it because I know that accidents can happen. There's that ladder. Here he is just walking by it. He's not going to get up on top of the wall again. I eventually settled for watching the birds from the ground. It wasn't the same, but it was better than nothing. Then one day, an idea flew by. What is that? That's an idea. Making planes was harder than I thought. It was easy to get cuts and scratches. But day after day, I kept trying. He's trying to make all these paper airplanes. And trying, look how many torn up paper airplanes that didn't work he has. All those balled up pieces of paper. Until I got it just right. Look at that paper airplane. He painted it to look like a bird. Do you think it's gonna fly? My plane was perfect. It flew like nothing could stop it. I haven't felt that happy in a long time. It wasn't the same as being up in the sky with the birds, but it was close enough. Look, there he is, throwing the bird airplane. And there it goes, and there it goes, and there it goes, and off into the air. Unfortunately, accidents happen. They always do. He lost the bird plane over the side of the wall. Do you think he'll be able to climb up that ladder and get his plane? I don't know. He looks pretty scared to me. I almost walked away again. But then I thought about all the time I'd spent working on my plane and all the other things I'd missed. I decided I was going to climb that wall again. But the higher I got, the more nervous I felt. I didn't want to admit it. I was terrified. I didn't look up. I didn't look down. I just kept climbing, one step at a time, until I was no longer afraid. He made it. Maybe now you won't think of me as that egg who was famous for falling. Uh-oh. Crack. Crack. Hopefully, you'll remember me as the egg that got back up. And learned how to fly. Look, he turned into a bird. After all that, Humpty Dumpty was an egg, and there was a bird inside that egg. He got to fly with the birds after all, didn't he? Look at that. I just love that story. That's the end. It's so joyful, isn't it? After something bad happens, you try again, and eventually you learn how to fly. I love that book. Well, that's all the books I have today. All the books about birds that I have. We'll read something else the next time. Okay? Thank you everybody for coming for story time. I hope you have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.